Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. Today, guys, we're here for you to review a new album in 2012 that you guys we asked a question. We asked, what are you guys listening to? And like everyone who gave us like 5 albums, they all said Bloc Party, 4. That's what we're reviewing today. This came out, I don't know when it came out. It was earlier this year. It was a few months ago.
A few weeks ago, actually. I don't think it was too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, good. Then we're doing okay. Sometimes, we just review a certain, 4 albums at a time now, and we'll just miss stuff because there's so much music that comes out in these little bursts, and then there's nothing for a while. So when we have like a lull, it's nice to go back to an album that you guys really like. So 4 from Bloc Party. Bloc Party is a band. They're British. They came from, this is their 4th album, hence the title 4, and they're coming off of a self-imposed hiatus, which is just a cheap way of saying, hey, we broke up, but we don't want to call it a breakup.
Yeah.
So, and so they're kind of returning it's kind of a return to their older sound. Bloc Party came out in 2005 with the album Silent Alarm, which is an album I was actually way into. Did you know that?
Yeah. I remember you listened to it a lot.
Yeah, I loved it back like right when I was graduating high school and stuff. And then I went back and listened to A Weekend in the City and Intimacy here a couple years ago, and went back. I kind of fell off of the wagon, of the Bloc Party wagon, and then got back on the wagon. I really liked A Weekend in the City. Intimacy, not so much.
Yeah, I didn't like that one much either.
Yeah, it just wasn't Bloc Party. They had lost that spark. These guys are all about making British indie rock music. That's what they do. There's lots of punk inspiration. There's a lot of Blur influence.
Yeah, very aggressive, a lot of attitude, especially in the vocals, but really how that pairs with the guitar.
Yeah.
Now, there also on this album are quite a few softer tracks.
Absolutely.
So they get a little more sentimental, but I feel like it works.
And that's definitely something that they did on like earlier albums, like Silent Alarm. So, and this was, like, I feel like this was a really stripped down sound for them even, it was like these songs really are just their core elements. You have bass and guitar and lots of driving guitar, and then a lot of, those aggressive vocals that you're talking about. Tom, what was your thoughts on 4? What are your self-reflections when you were listening to this?
It took me a while to really get into, because this is one of those bands that it takes a certain amount of listens to really distinguish track from track. Right. Because the sound is so cohesive, it's so uniform, that at first you might mistake it for just a lack of variety. Right. Really, I think there is a decent amount of variety in the songwriting. It's just that it's presented to you so similarly. Right. With everything just being so consistent in the production, that it kind of blends together. But once you get to know these songs, I was actually fairly impressed, because I don't think any of these songs are bad. Even though you get to some that feel a little bit like generic rockers, there's always some hook bringing you back, whether it's in the guitar, nice lead guitar lines, or the vocal melodies. So I actually found myself enjoying this album straight through. Now, the one big downside for me was that it just didn't seem too ambitious. Right. They were just writing some songs. I think after their hiatus, they were just trying to get back into a groove, and I think they did a good job of that. But for me, that doesn't really jump out to me as being incredible. It's just a quite enjoyable throughout album. That doesn't really accomplish a whole lot more than that, I'd say.
Yeah. At first, when I jumped into this, I really loved the sound. I loved that they had kind of stripped it down. I could totally tell. Sounded like a more mature version of Silent Alarm, which has been an album that I've liked for a long time. So I felt like sometimes the songs did repeat themselves, like you were saying. But overall, I thought that the pacing was very nice, that they did a nice job of shaping the album so that it was a straight-through listen. So it is very easy just to listen to this straight through. I'm totally with you, Tom. I don't feel like this really has any defining tracks. I would say originality is something that I'm a little bit weary of on this album. When I look at this, I can't say none of this has been done before. I actually think all of it's been done before.
Some of it even by them.
Right, exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's kind of a little self-delutive. On top of that, just not bringing anything new to the table. This is a band with a ton of talent. They're great songwriters and crafters, and you see a lot of that tight songwriting here.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, you don't see any new things that they're bringing to the table. It's all ideas that you can find by looking at artists and albums from people that Bloc Party's been influenced by. And I just don't feel like that spark is there. Still, I really enjoyed listening to this when it was on, so I think it's it's solid, but I'm not sold on it being like a great album. And so for me, originality is huge. I also think that they bounce around a little bit with the mood, and it just kind of felt like a collection of tracks that the band had gotten back together, and like you said, just tried to make a solid effort at making what Bloc Party is and what Bloc Party does, and they did a good job. So I think I'm sitting low 70s on this one. I'm going 72.
I'm going 78.
What do you guys think? This is Bloc Party's return for its, it sounds clean, got great production, some good songwriting. We are noting that there's just a little bit of lack of originality and ambition, really. So if you guys are loving this, so I'm sure you guys have some counterpoints, really interested in your thoughts. Leave us a comment at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. As always, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. That's how we reviewed this album, is because you guys on Facebook told us, hey, we're into this. We want to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you guys for participating. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.